Hi, I'm John, and today you're in for a real treat as we have another model from ScaleTrains. So let's head over to the workbench. So if you've been watching this channel, you know I don't usually do this, but there's something really satisfying about the unboxing process of a ScaleTrains model. They have a really nice presentation. And I thought I'd show you that the manual on this one is really full of a lot of information. And it's not their typical manual where you fold it out and it's this big long thing. This one actually is more like a book. So there's that. And then there's the model. So I'll get it out of the package and we'll take a close look. All right, so here's what we're looking at today. This is an HO scale GP30. This comes from ScaleTrains, and it's part of their Rivet counter series. They sell these both as DCC ready and DCC and sound equipped. The DCC ready version at the time of this recording goes for $194.99. And the DCC and sound equipped version goes for $289.99. This is on the ScaleTrains website. And this DCC and sound equipped version comes with an ESU version 5 sound decoder. Your best bet would be to go to the ScaleTrains website and see if they have what you're looking for, because it comes in a whole bunch of different road names, and they even have B units with no cab. So definitely head over there and take a look at what they're offering. The paint on this model is crisp and evenly applied, and I'm noticing that it has some kind of lighter black or gray added to the grille detail in the back here, which gives it some depth. And if you look at the side of this thing, you'll notice all kinds of detail in the trucks, including speed recorders, sanding lines, brake detail. There's a lot to look at, as always. It's one of the things we like so much about ScaleTrains is that they give you more details than you can shake a stick at. There's even undersill details, including the air reservoir. There's piping down in here. You can see that they've used some very fine application of red paint. There's even an ACI label, and these windows on the cab open and close. If you want to have them a specific way, your best bet would be to position them the way you want them and then leave them. You could even add just a little dot of canopy glue in there to keep them in the position that you want. Looking at the detail around the cab, you can see that there's wind deflectors. Sunshade comes installed. There's a little armrest there for the engineer. If you look up here, you can see that it's very finely rendered, separately applied windshield wipers on all of the windows. It's pretty amazing. And then the front of the model around the nose and pilot has working marker lights, which we'll look at later. Separately applied grabs everywhere you look. This is a drop step that's operable, up or down position. There's an uncoupling lever. MU and air hose detail. Of course, the snowplow itself. And then the step wells have safety striping, and the stairs themselves are what looks to be photo-etched see-through metal parts. And I wanted to show you this angle just to show you the extra hose here and MU hoses on this side. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's actually a recessed part in the nose with the brake ratchet right in here. To be fair, I did not notice how much detail was in this model right away because it's black on black and it's hard to see that. But if you look on this side, you can see that there's also a speed recorder and a bunch of other detail. The speed recorder on both sides of this model is a prototype specific detail as mentioned on the website. So they've really gone to a lot of trouble to give us something that is highly prototypically accurate, as we expect from ScaleTrains. Looking at the rear of the model, you can see it has the movable drop step and associated details along the pilot down here. One of the things that I always liked about the Rio Grande paint scheme is the barricade striping. There's something that really appeals to me about that. It's just a very clean looking paint job. And you'll notice that there's also white on parts of the handrails, but not all of them. And there's also white safety striping down the stairs on the stepwells. This is the last 3/4 view we'll look at. Just wanted to point out the extra hose detail here. Now we'll take a look at the details on the roof. If you look, you can see there's a curved grab that goes along the rear fan here. And the fans themselves have what appears to be photo-etched grill detail. And then the fans themselves are separately applied parts inside there. Gives a great illusion of depth. The dynamic brake fan also is very impressive. The grill over the exhaust looks to be a separately applied part. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably photo etched. And then you can see there's antenna detail up here and the horn casting.
And you know, it's always my favorite thing to run the model. It sounds really good. The website said that it has 2 speakers in it. Without any tweaking to the decoder, it has some great low speed control. It's a 5-pole motor.
All right, so we'll take a closer look at the lights here. There's quite a bit to look at. First off, when you turn on the sound, you get all of the little running lights, step lights, operation lights, and F14 turns on your number boards. The light is directional, comes on with F0. That turns on the light that's over the cab. And then F7 is your Mars or gyro light. And this model also has, this is cool, marker lights. And you hit F5 to hit the marker lights on, and they cycle. So you can have the yellow color, this green color, or red. You just push F5, and each time it changes, with the final press turning them off. And now we're looking at the rear lights, and you can see from this angle that there's a step light just behind this rear step. There's this service light here on the back. The number boards are already lit, and then when you hit the reverse button, the rear headlight comes on. And then back here we have operating marker lights, just like in the front. The marker lights come on in the front and the back at the same time. They're not directional. As usual,
ScaleTrains has just knocked this completely out of the park. I wasn't sure because GP30s don't really have a lot of stuff to look at, meaning the prototypes are not particularly detailed, but the model is, and it has pretty much everything that you'd expect to see on it and more, as we've come to expect from ScaleTrains. I really like the fact that it has all that additional lighting. I thought the marker lights especially were really cool. And something else, you want to read through that manual. I'll say something about the manual in a second, but read through the manual because there are other functions in the function keys that will do things that you might not realize unless you read through the manual. For example, I found that F26 turns the marker lights on and off, and it doesn't cycle through. So you could set them to one color and then use F26 to turn them on and off instead of cycling through every time using the earlier or the lower function key. So that's something to know about. Also, I want to comment about the manual. I like that smaller manual because those big trifold manuals to me are a little harder to deal with. Having it in a small sort of timetable sized manual lets you put it in your back pocket if you're using the manual while you're operating. And it's just easier for me to handle something that small without having to, open it up and have it be 2.5 feet or, whatever those trifolds are. So I think that's an improvement, and good job, ScaleTrains. Everything about this model is just wow. Can't say enough good things about it. And I've told Shane recently at a train show, thanks for pushing the industry more toward this level of detail and authenticity. I think they're doing a great job. So keep up the great work, ScaleTrains. We'll see you next time.